What's going on, everybody? Thanks again for joining me for another video. Today I have something I've been super excited about for a long time, and I finally got my hands on one. I got a SCUF controller, and I'm super excited to do this review for you. I want to let you guys know if it's worth it, what I think of the controller, and how it holds up to the price point and other aspects of the controller itself. I know a lot of you may be interested. It's an expensive controller. Is it actually worth it? Stay tuned to the end of the video, and I'll let you know what I think. So the first thing I want to talk about is the box and how it came. I think the quality of the box was very nice. Unfortunately, the one that I got had a little bit of a dinged edge on the side, but that's okay. It's expected with all the packaging stuff that's going on right now. But otherwise, the box is great. As you can see, it has all of the features listed on the back of the box, and it shows the controller off nicely on the front of the box. Unfortunately, it doesn't show which color you got. As you can see, it shows the black one on the front. I got the red one, and they don't really change the packaging for that, which is fine. That would kind of be pretty expensive for them to do that if they did. On the back, you see a nice contrast orange. It says change your game. I think that's really cool because, this controller is really supposed to hold up to its name and really impact your gameplay and be able to make you an even better player. So then you get into the inside of the box, and they really control the controller well, so it's not going to bounce around inside of the box too much. You have some protective padding for the joysticks, which I think is really nice because you know how controllers can get with the drift and everything that they have to deal with. So really protecting those is really important. I really like that feature. I think that it's great because I really don't want to get a controller and I come in and then it has drift as soon as the controller comes out of the box. The controller comes with a charging cord, which is a very significant length, which is very good for trying to play if you're farther away from your PlayStation, along with interchangeable thumbsticks, which is pretty easy to change out. One is higher elevated with a rounded curve to the joystick, which allows you to be able to put that on the right side to be more accurate in FPS games. And then the other one is a lower grade, just like the other ones that come base on the controller, but instead of being a indented curve on the controller, it's a rounded curve like the higher one as well, if you wanted to keep those consistent, or whichever one you like more. And that's one of the big customization features here. You can really change out the thumbsticks, the faceplate, and really get a feel for your own controller and make it yours. So the overall look and feel of this controller is very nice. I really like the feel of the controller in my hand. I like the way that the grips are on the back. They have a really nice grip tactile to them. Some of it is raised. It gives you that gripness to it, as well as it has like a stickiness of that rubber feel to make sure that you're not slipping off the controller when you're in some hardcore game sessions. So I really like the way that the controller sits in your hand, as well as how the triggers feel and the buttons and all of that. They're very smooth, they're very nice, and I think it's pretty good quality. And there's a slight tactile design on the back of the controller where the extra buttons are, and those are very minimal, but you can feel them and it's not too bad. But I do like the controller. I think it has a nice grip to it, and it's definitely not going to slip out of your hands. So getting into the specs of the controller, I think that they have some great features, and I really wanted to go over those with you guys so you can really get into it and really think, what is this controller? What does it actually do? What is it offering to me? And see if it's worth it for you. So the controller is compatible with PlayStation 5, Windows 7 and above, Mac OS with Catalina and above, and it's even compatible with iOS and at iOS 10 and above. It doesn't seem like it's compatible with Android at the moment, but all of those features combined, you could really use this controller on a lot of different platforms, which is really great. It allows you to be able to use your controller for any games that you're really trying to play, so that's a definite plus for the controller. It doesn't weigh that much at 300 grams. I'm not noticing too much of a difference between the normal controller and this one. I do sense there is a little bit heavier here, but it's not really noticeable. It's not going to weigh you down or anything like that. I think it's a really solid weight. And the controller is wireless Bluetooth, just like the other PlayStation 5 controller, so there's nothing new there. As you can see on the side, the dimensions pretty much the same as any other controller here. Same ports, and the range is pretty much the same. And the good part about it is that you have a 6-month warranty on the controller from SCUF. So that's another added bonus when you're trying to use the controller, test it out. If something goes wrong, you could get SCUF involved after that. So on to the next thing, we have customizable mapping controls. So the controller is really cool, where you have on the back of the controller this little button right here, and the button here allows you to switch between 3 different controller mapping profiles. And those profiles allow you to set specific mapping for the back of the controller to allow you to have certain games set up. So say for example, I want to play Destiny like you see in the background of this. I can have certain setup for that if melee, jumping, and crouching is super important for me in this game, which it tends to be. I can set those to the back of the controller as a hotkey. And then if I switch the controller mapping to the next profile, I can set that up for Call of Duty, or I can set that up for any other game that I'm playing that may have a slightly different controller setup. As you can see on the channel, I am currently playing Dying Light 2, and that controller scheme is vastly different from a normal FPS game like Destiny or Call of Duty, and I can set the back of the controller to make it easier for me to parkour, make it easier for me to get into combat, and it's just an easy click of a button to switch over when I'm ready to switch games for that custom mapping. So I really like that feature. I think it's a fantastic feature to have so that it's just a quick boop, you're done, and you're on to the next game, and you're ready to go and stay competitive with this controller. This is how you map the controller with the new profile settings that they have. So the button right there you're going to wind up holding along with a button to then map where you want it to be on the back. So say you want it to be triangle, and then you would click the button right there that you would want it to go to. So first you're going to hold that button until it starts flashing, like this. Then you're going to choose a button on the front that you want to map to the back of the controller, and you're going to hold that button while pressing the button on the back. So it's going to be triangle, then that button on the side. See how it turned white? That means that is now mapped, and it goes back to blinking, and that is how you do it. Same thing with another button you're going to hold. It goes to white, and it maps there too. So it's pretty simple with all the buttons that you want to map to. You just do it for each one, and then you're done, and you hit the button again in the end there, just like that. So now we're going to get into the big part of why all of you are here is this worth the price? Is this price point good for this controller? So as you can see from the chart I'm going to have up on screen here, you can see the other lines of PlayStation 5 controllers from SCUF. So we have the Reflex Pro, the Reflex FPS, and just the normal Reflex. And we can see the price difference of all three. At the time when I bought the controller, the FPS was not available, or else I most likely would have bought that one since that's the type of game that I normally play. As you can see, there's not too much of a big difference in these controllers, but the big one here that you can notice between the FPS and the Pro is that the adaptive triggers are not on the FPS. Now I know myself, I like the adaptive trigger feature to be in my controller because I like that feature for the games, but personally when I play FPS games, I am not using adaptive triggers because it definitely does mess with my gameplay, and I do not want to have that happen because I'm trying to be as competitive as possible, and that really messes me up. Then otherwise, you continue to have the same features down until the vibration modules. I'm not too keen on what the difference between those two is because I don't have the FPS to be able to compare it to, but the vibration on the Reflex is very good. It feels just like the normal controller, no issues with that. And currently they say there's no customization options. I'm not sure if that just means in store or if that just means, you know, there won't be. I'm not sure, but you can take off this faceplate and change that out. You probably will be able to change the thumbsticks and the color, as you can see around the thumbsticks there, to try to make it a little more of your own controller. So I really do like the Reflex here as a option as compared to the other two. I think the FPS is a little more expensive for not so much benefit, and the Reflex Pro adds a little more gain to you by having that grip. Do I think it's worth $30 just to have the grip? If they kept the normal PlayStation grip, I would say no, because I do like the grip on the PlayStation 5 controller. But if you really want that tactile hard grip that you really sink your hands into, then yeah, that $30 may be worth it to you to have that grip on there so that you don't have to buy an aftermarket grip. It's just going to be an all-in-one controller for you. So I really do like that feature that's involved in this controller itself. So now to the part that everyone's been waiting for. Is this controller worth it? Do I buy this controller? Is it worth it for me? So in my opinion, after my testing of this and playing some games with it, testing the different button mappings, I do like all the features of this controller. I think that it really sets you up well to have a competitive advantage against your opponents. I think it really saves those split seconds in between jumping around a corner, sliding, getting around those grenades, whatever the case is in the game that you're playing. This controller, with the quick features of just being able to click right here and just be able to switch, being able to jump without having to move your fingers off the controller, really do provide those extra split seconds to be able to get that advantage. So I do really like that about these controllers, and I think that the grip and all of the other features that come with it really do impact your gameplay enough to be able to warrant buying this item. So would I buy this product again? After knowing what I know now, having the controller in my hand, going through the shipping problems that it had, would I do it again? And yes, I would. I was perfectly fine waiting about a month to get my controller, and I still like what I see. I like what I have. SCUF was very transparent in the process. They were always emailing me, telling me what's going on with my controller, where is it in the process, and letting me know when it should be coming. They were very transparent. I really like that about what they did. And the whole world is dealing with this issue right now, so they really did have the customer service in that aspect of it as well, and I thought that that was very good, and that's always a good sign from a company. So I think if there's any problems with your controller, they're going to be a good company to go to and say, hey, I have this problem, what can you do for me, how can you help me? I think they're going to be able to do that as well. So I would buy this controller again. I think that it's a great pickup for anybody looking to try to have that competitive edge. If the price point's too high for you, I know there are other modded controllers out there, but I think SCUF is a very reputable brand, and they really haven't let a lot of people down. I know a lot of good people that have these, and they really like them, and I am now one of those people as well. I like all the features, and I think it would be a great pickup for you too. So that about wraps up our review of the SCUF Reflex Pro controller. I hope you guys learned something during this review, and I hope it helps impact your decision on getting this controller or not. I do really think this is great. I really like it, and I hope you get your hands on one too. Hopefully the supply issues will resolve pretty soon, and you guys will be able to get your hands on your own and be able to start getting that competitive edge on your games. Thanks again for joining, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.